y'all? Magic Mondays. This is the final week of the elements, and we end it with Earth. Cool thing about Earth is more than just an element, obviously. This is the planet we're on. So all the other elements take place within or on Earth. So to go to the element itself and how it is depicted and its correspondences. Earth is the material realm. It is the physical. It is our actual bodies that you can touch and see, smell, feel, taste. It represents materialization, manifestation. Making something a reality. It also is our grounding. That's actually a huge aspect of it, and a lot of people don't even really know what groundedness is, but nature, going out in nature, seems to naturally ground us, and it makes sense. I mean, it's nature. I don't know necessarily the science behind this, but I know that if we spend time in nature, naturally we'll be more grounded. And your groundedness is really just, you get that from knowing where you're at, who you are, what's happened to you. That's your groundedness. And if you deny those things, if you don't know what those things are, and you haven't taken time to work with that, you have no groundedness. They say your head's in the clouds. And purpose comes from our earth element. It's you would think it would come from our fire, our passion, but it comes from our earth. It comes from our groundedness, and being grounded is knowing your purpose. And you might not know every step you're going to take. You might not know even the main thing you want to do, but if you know what your life is, you know what has happened, and you know where you're going right now, the step you're taking, the next step you're taking, that'll ground you. That is your groundedness. You don't have to have everything mapped out. It doesn't take all that to be grounded. It's also our finances, our daily routines, our traditions. It's huge. Things that we go over and over again. That ends up tapping into our earth element, which has to do with a certain kind of autopilot even. It's not a good autopilot if, everything's not in check. But the autopiloting happens from our earth element. It is the yin to air's yang. If air represents our flexibility and our ability to move in and out of situations, earth represents our ability to stay stable and to stand in one position and be unmovable. So it's quite the opposite, in fact. It's our security as well. It's hard to have groundedness when you are homeless. It's hard to have groundedness when your father's just died. It's hard to have groundedness when you haven't sat down and breathed. It's hard to be grounded when you haven't went outside in a week. And so the biggest thing I would say to tap into that is go out into nature. There's other methods. Normally, they involve going into nature. Amongst or within that practice. So I would just encourage you to go out into the woods, go off by the river, step out into your grass. It's going to help. You don't know how much it's going to help until you just do it. Its direction, at least the one I connect to, is south. I feel like that's very easy to remember because the earth is always right below us, unless you're flying through the air. to go along with our daily routine and our purpose and our security, there are two sides that occur from our earth energy being high or low. When our earth energy is high, that's vitality. It's very similar to a drive you get from your fire, because there's a certain drivenness that comes from that. But it's less about that aspect and the fact that it's like you have abundance of energy. You have an abundance of get up and go, and you're going, and it's like you're not tiring. That's vitality, and that comes from being grounded. It comes from having high earth energy. When we're not vital, when we have low earth energy, we get depression. Depression. There's been a large group of people, I feel like, that have misconstrued depression for sadness, which, I feel like in the last 5-10 years with all the suicide prevention and the awareness, people are starting to not make that misconnection there anymore. But, just to further reiterate, it's not sadness. Depression is not sadness. You might be sad and depressed at the same time, and they will lend each other more space for it to happen. But your depression is when your earth energy is low, your purpose is not clear from that, your security is not clear, your drive is not clear. And that's like, it leads you to be like, well, why am I here? That's why depression goes hand in hand with suicide. You sit there and you think for a year or two, why am I here? Every single day, and nothing ever happens. Man, I'll let you fill the blank. So I encourage everybody to just breathe. Go out there, sit on the grass, go in the woods, be thankful, be grateful that you're here, and don't stress it so much. You just got to take baby steps until you find your purpose. And your purpose until then is to find your purpose. So I'll see you guys soon. Peace and love. Happy Magic Mondays.